to Atlanta BDPA Speaker Behind the Topic. Joining me today is Sanjay Sharma. Welcome.
Thank you.
So this month we're featuring Big Data Part 2, whereas we're going to go into more detailed discussion on the big data topic itself. But before we actually do that, I want you all to learn more about Sanjay himself, our actual presenter for the October 17th meeting, and get some background information about him. So Sanjay, can you tell us how long have you been in the IT industry and why did you get started?
Sure. So basically started my journey in the IT world around 1998. So it's been more than 40 years now. And it's really interesting being in the IT industry. And I like the job.
So what piqued your interest in IT? How old were you when you had an interest in going to the IT field?
So was early on, since I was a kid, so I get used to play with the computers way back when I was 6 or 8 years old. I have my PC, my first PC in 1996, and already had internet and everything working on that long back. So I was one of the early users of internet, and that way, yeah, I think I was kind of feel that I was kind of built for IT only.
So you said you were like 6 or 7 years old and had an interest for IT.
Yep.
Very early age. Was that because your family were encouraging you, or as your parents, or was this just something you just had a natural interest in?
Yeah, I think it was natural kind of likeness that I had for IT computers. Playing, I think of course kids like playing with games. That kind of is easier way for every kid to start liking computers. And that happened with me as well.
Okay, so actually going through using the video games, and that's very popular these days, as you stated.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us, what was your first job in IT? Currently, you are a solutions architect.
Yep.
So what was your first job in IT?
Sure. So I think usually when you get into IT, if you're talking about core IT, you start as a developer. So started as a VB and a Java developer way back 1998. And then slowly as I went through multiple customers, multiple projects, I went on to become a solution architect.
Okay. So you keep saying that was way back in 1998, like that was a long time ago. For some of our viewers out there, that's a short time.
I know.
But for you, that was a long time ago.
Yes. Yeah, given that, yes, I've seen a lot of changes in the industry. I'm seeing it even right now in terms of big data is certainly a very big change in how we perceive IT.
Okay. So what first piqued your interest in the big data in itself to really hone in on that and specialize in big data itself?
Okay, so I have been involved in solution architecture for the past 7-8 years now. And around 5 years ago, I joined a company called Peters, which is a heavy base in R&D. And I kind of joined that organization just for R&D in IT. And I started our labs within the R&D department called HPC, High Performance Computing. And that kind of moved over to big data. Since HPC and big data kind of combined together, where big data is more about large volumes of data, while HPC is more about performance computing. So given you have large data, you usually combine that with performance computing. So since the past 4 years, I've been building big data competencies within my labs, within the organization itself. Now it's good business for the organization itself.
Exactly. So the company that you currently work for, the name of that company, and what's the name of that company, and what solutions do they provide?
Okay. So I work for a company called Impetus. We are based out of San Jose. and we do have around 1,300 plus engineers based out in India as well as across US. And we usually help companies, enterprises, ISVs build products. And big data is certainly a big business for us these days, given that there's a lot of emphasis in the market on big data now.
Yes, yes it is. So a lot of business happening. You're, like you say, one of the early adopters or adapters going into the whole big data area and solution as a data, even though you're an architect with it, but it's a lot of data analysis that you have to do.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
So when you come out to our October the 17th meeting, you're going to be hitting on what particular topics?
Sure. So I think what I'll try to do is take on the message that
Dr. Craig Brown
was take it forward. I think talked about the entire big data space on a whole. I'll go a level deeper into the technology area to ensure that the audience over there understand what are the opportunities, what are the technologies, and how somebody from the traditional IT world can enter this big data world.
Okay. So is there a particular technology you'll be focusing in on at that meeting?
Not entirely, but I would be talking about a particular technology called Hadoop.
Okay, Hadoop.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, there's an interesting story behind that.
Okay.
I'll relate that in the class itself, in the session itself.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's a kind of a technology changer itself. It is changing the way people have looked at the data warehousing world for the past 30, 40 years.
Okay.
It will be really interesting for the BPDA audience.
Okay. So in order to get some of that background or interesting story about Hadoop itself, you need to make sure you attend the October the 17th meeting that we're going to have. So, you talked about 6 or 7 years old, you having that natural interest in IT. So currently, do you have any kids? Do you have a family? Do you have any kids?
Yeah, so yeah, a lovely family. My wife is here with me. My kid is 8 years old. So I recently relocated to Atlanta from India.
Okay.
So I used to travel a lot here, and as such my family has lived all over Europe. We have traveled UK, US, now traveling here also. So I think that's one of the hobbies that I kind of have, traveling around with my family.
But does your child have that natural curiosity towards IT like you had when you were 6 or 7, since your child is 8 now?
Yeah.
Does your child have that natural curiosity?
Yes, I think kids in this, I think in current times, they are all IT geeks. They all know how to operate computers, iPads, iPhones, and all kinds of phones. So it's more natural for them than what was for us.
Yes, back then. Now, as your child, is it a boy or girl? It's a boy. So as he gets older, will you be steering him more towards the IT field and career, or will you let him choose his own
I
path?
think I'll let him choose.
Yeah. Okay. But of course, as you stated, the majority of kids these days, they have to be involved with IT because it's everywhere. It's all around you.
Yep.
To also include big data.
Yep.
It's all around you, and whether you know you're involved with big data or not, you are.
Yep.
If not as an actual person in IT that's utilizing that information to do analysis and make big business decisions, but data is being stored and saved on you as a consumer.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. So once you start seeing this big surge in all the data and these different companies, gathering this information on people, how did you make that decision to switch over to your current field and to focus in on the big data itself. How did you go about determining this is the area that I need to be looking at?
Sure. So I think you kind of partly answered the question that data is almost everywhere. You might not perceive it, you might not see it directly, but everywhere you see there is data. Talk about phones, everybody carrying phones, multiple phones. You have your cars, even having the sensors and everything. It translates into big data. So it's everywhere. Every time you make a phone call, it's a big data problem for the carriers. Every time you're driving, it's a big data problem for the car manufacturers who's getting that information, showing the information, for finding out whether your tire pressures are correct or whether they can predict when you go and take your car for maintenance. So those are kind of things that relate to everybody who's not even directly associated with IT. Every day somebody goes to Macy's, you would like them to recommend them the best option, personalized, customized for that customer.
Yes.
So personalization is the key, and big data is one of the drivers for personalization.
Yes, exactly. So, did you see that as the next hot IT career to be more of a big data analyst? Because right now they're changing the whole role or concept of a data analyst.
Yep.
It doesn't mean the same thing as it meant years ago.
Yes.
So how do you see that role changing as a data analyst itself today?
Okay. So so far in the IT world, what we used to see was age of information. Now it's the age of data. And one of the things that would change in the data analysis world is initially you knew what to look for. The new data scientists of the world find out information which you are not aware of. Just to cover the part what you don't know. So figuring out some trends in the data which can effectively help boost the business. That's one of the main changes in the data analyst role. Finding out what you don't know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So do you see a big surge in jobs for his career-wise?
Yes. So every big organization would have to go for some big data technology because data is not going to reduce. Number of tweets are not going to reduce. Number of Facebook users or the comments that you put on Facebook are not going to reduce. Number of phone calls you make are not going to reduce. Number of clothes that you buy not going to reduce.
Exactly. I don't know, maybe the phone calls will be totally taken over by the text messages now.
Yeah.
But that's still more data.
Yes.
So we'll definitely have to look at how we analyze those that data to make different decisions.
Yep.
And also think about capacity,
Yep.
all that volume
Yes.
that we have to look at and determine. So it's really going to affect the different corporations.
Yes.
Okay. And we'll see some high demands for a solutions architect like yourself.
Yes, certainly. So there's a lot of opportunity as far as career is concerned in big data. You have opportunities for architects, you have opportunities for data analysts, and of course data scientists. That's becoming the demand in the market right now.
Okay.
So if your tagline data scientist, it's really prestigious.
Really?
Yeah.
So how you end up getting that data scientist tag?
So data scientists are usually, right now, most of them are PhDs in algorithms and statistics. But I think the industry is currently moving towards sophisticated tools which can help the data analysts of today to move over to that new paradigm of becoming data scientists.
Okay. And then also a final thing, is there any way or how can a person move over to be a data analyst? Are there any certain courses or classes or certifications that are out there to help a person to move over in that particular role or career field?
So I think the problem with new technologies is that there isn't a lot of opportunity for training or certifications. So the field is really new. There are certain areas, certain trainings available, but currently the market is still evolving, so it might take a time when we have those certification trainings set up for.
But what type of training should they be looking at now? What is available for them now to go towards that field until, you know, all those certifications are created? How can they step into that arena?
Right. I think what is happening is most of the bigger universities have started courses in data analytics itself. So that's one of the easiest way where you could go to maybe I think Stanford has one course. So have other universities, and I might cover some of these in the session itself.
Okay.
To help our audience learn more about the data technologies and then get trained themselves into these technologies.
Okay. So, but they would actually have to come out to the meeting on October the 17th to hear how they can go over into the area and get trained and get the information needed to go over into that career field.
Yep.
So I want to thank you so very much for your time and coming here to do the Speaker Behind the Topic series with us, the Atlanta BDPA chapter, and I look forward to seeing you on October the 17th and hearing all about Big Data Part 2 and talking about some of the technologies such as Hadoop.
Yeah, sure. I also look forward to it, and of course you have to be there to understand what opportunities we'll get with Big Data.
Okay, see you October the 17th at Marley's Coffee and Tea House down in Atlanta.